Video on how to build just a basic report in Salesforce. There's a lot of varieties on how you can do this, but what we're going to focus on is leads by state. So we're going to pull in all of our leads and we're going to categorize them based by what state they're in. So to start, if you're on your home page in Salesforce, you're going to find the Reports tab. I have it highlighted with that little kind of purple arrow there. But on occasion, depending on the layout of your tabs here, you may have to click on this More option to locate reports. If you do, you can always reconfigure the order of your tabs, but where it stands now, My Reports is here, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth tab over. I'm going to go ahead and click the Reports tab, which will open to basically my recent reports. If you have a lot of reports run, this list will be a lot longer. If you don't have any that you've run, you typically just have this simple sample one shown. What we're going to do is build a new report. So you can organize it. We'll focus on that later with folders, but we're not going to go ahead and look at that here. We're just going to go straight to new report. And I'm looking for the leads report. You may be able to, or you may have to search it here under search report types, or you can just simply scroll down until you hit leads. You will notice that these are not alphabetical. So don't be looking for the L's. You're just going to have to find where leads is located. On my list, it was right about the middle. So if you're not typing in leads here, you may have to scroll down to the middle. Once you have the leads selected, you're going to go ahead and select Start Report, and it'll take you to kind of your report builder here. If you notice there on the left, I have two arrows, one pointing up and one pointing down. The first arrow pointing up is heading up to the outline. What the outline is basically how your report is going to look. It has nothing to do with how you're going to filter the report or which data you're going to look at, but it has to do with how you're going to visualize that data. So of all the accounts or all the leads or all the opportunities, what fields do I want to see? Do I want to see names? Do I want to see states? Do I want to see cities? Do I want to see companies? What emails? Whatever it might be. So we're going to start with the outline. So down at the bottom, you'll see right now we have first name, last name, title, company account, email, lead source, street, rating, lead owner. I can already tell you there's a few in here that I probably don't care that much about. I've never been a huge user of rating. You might be. But street, especially for reports, I typically don't care about the street. I probably care about that later down the road. So I may want to remove some of these things, and you just go ahead and select the X to remove them. But you'll notice up here, we have those same names, so those same lists. You got first name, last name, title, company account, email, etc. And you'll notice they're in the same order. So you can always configure this just by clicking and dragging these in different orders on the left. We're going to go ahead and get rid of lead source, street, and rating. Because really what I want to see is how many leads do I have? Where are they? I don't really care about that much detail here. And what I've found is the least amount of detail needed, the better. So don't add in anything superfluous if you don't need it. That way it simplifies the information. It gets what you need across quickly. Once you go ahead and remove those, you'll notice that the side on the right will kind of gray out. And you'll notice up here there's a little kind of exclamation point and a yellow triangle and a button that says refresh. We're not going to refresh it just yet because we're going to add two things. So in this columns, you'll notice it says add column. We're going to search city, and then once you search it, go ahead and add it, and then state/province. So we want to know what city, what state, and we'll add those in. And again, you can reorder these as you want. And then once you have that, go ahead and hit that refresh button. Each time you refresh it, you're not going to see the full report. It's kind of going to give you a sample, but I like to refresh it often. Each time I make a change, I refresh it. The reason I do that is to ensure that I change the things I wanted to properly, that it's still looking the way I expect it to look. If I notice something's missing or something's not adding up quite right, it's nice to know right away so you don't make 10 more changes down the road and have to figure out where you went wrong. So once we have that going, right now you're going to see, all right, I hit refreshed, and then now the kind of yellowish orange exclamation point changed into a green check, so that's good. Green checks are always good. And it also says previewing a limited number of records. That's worth noting. Every time you see this screen, until you hit this blue run button or the save and run button, you're not going to see the full report. You're just going to see kind of a snippet of the report. But you'll notice we don't have any records. So something's up. So we were currently on outline. I'm going to go ahead and jump into the filters. What the filters are doing is saying of all our leads, show me just certain ones that fit the criteria that I give you. So let's see what that initial criteria is. All right, so on the left here, you'll notice it says show me my leads and create a date on or after December 27th of last year of 2024 if it's years out from now. So that limits a few things. So this is only, right now we're in January. We're just past the new year. We only have a week's worth of leads, and it was right over the holidays. So we probably didn't create any new leads during this time period. And then also it's just my leads. Well, if I have a sales team and I got many sales reps or something like that, there's a likelihood that the leads have different account owners or different lead owners. And they weren't me. So it's not going to show me everybody. It's just going to show me ones that I created or that have me tagged as the lead owner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click my leads, and I'm going to change it from my leads to all leads. Then I'm going to hit apply. And again, I like to hit refresh probably too often, but it makes sure it's giving you what you expect. So again, I didn't get any leads here, so I'm going to do one more thing. So here it says create date. And instead of saying on or after a set date, I'm going to change that range to all time. This means any leads we have whenever they were created. Show me everything. And hit apply. And again, we're going to hit refresh. And once we do that, would you look at that? We have a whole bunch of leads that have come in. These were likely leads. You will see my name on all these because this is my fake account here. However, none of them were created during that week that we previously had designated. So we had to create a list of leads created all time in order to pull these in. So last thing I want to do is I want to now group these. So we remember at the start we were grouping leads by state. So I have my full list, but over here on the right under state, province, Florida, Virginia, this one's empty, Maryland, North Carolina, Illinois, Georgia, Connecticut, they're just kind of randomly organized by states. There is an option to sort, so you can actually click this, I believe it's this little triangle button, it'll give you the option to sort by that column, but I don't want to do that. I actually want to see how many we have in each state, so I kind of want it to count for me. So right above where it says columns, in the outline, so we go back to the outline here, you have the option for group columns and group rows. And what we're going to do is we're going to group the rows, and you can search state or state/province. So that's what you're looking for. You want to group the rows by state/province. So let's see how that looks. Once we do it, we go ahead and hit refresh. And would you look at that? Now it's going to go state by state. I got one in Alabama, one in California. And again, this is just a preview. It's going to tell me that right there, previewing a limited number of records. So it's just giving you an idea of what this looks like. But this is what I want. I want to see how many I have in each state, and I can scroll down through those. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit that run button. If you're ready to save it, you're welcome to hit save and run, but we're going to save it at the end. We're going to hit run first. What that gives you the ability to do is see the report in full, make sure it's right before you save anything. Or if you don't even want to save it, you don't necessarily have a need to save all reports. All right, so it looks like I got 52 total records. You can see that listed right here. 1 in Alabama, 2 in Arkansas, 3 in California, 1 in Connecticut, etc., etc., etc. You're also going to see the city, the lead owner. If I don't like how these are organized, I can shift these around. Remember, using the, if we go back there, using the outline there, all I have to do is click and drag these boxes up or down, and it'll reorganize my columns for me. And now, the one thing I don't like is we got a bunch of states, and a lot of them don't have that many leads. Again, this is a fake account. I only have 52 leads in here. However, it's a fairly long list for 52 leads, and you're probably going to have way more than 52 leads. So let's go ahead and add a chart to make it a little bit more sensible. So there's an add chart button right there. The very initial chart that will be added is typically a bar graph. It may or may not be what you're looking for. But what's nice about that is it pretty much summarizes the data relatively well in just a visual. If you don't like the choice of chart, if you scroll down the bottom, you will have the full list below. But you can hit this little gearbox right here, and what that'll allow you to do is change your chart options. So you can do bar, column. Stacked bar is great if you have multiple criteria of how you're grouping them. So you could do group by state, and maybe we want to keep rating. So you want to have group by state, and then within each state, how many are hot, how many are moderate, how many are cold or warmer or and cold. You can have a stacked bar where it'll multicolor each bar and actually allow that to adapt based on that secondary criteria of how you're grouping them. Line chart, donut, funnel. Funnel's great for a sales funnel. You can have stages as they funnel down, and you can have them summarized accordingly. And then line graph would be great for a time series. So how many activities or demos are your reps doing over a period of time? That's going to track that really well. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and save this. So go ahead and hit that little arrow, the little caret right there. It'll hit a drop down. Go ahead and hit save. We're going to call this leads by state. And if you don't mind, if you're following this along, I'll ask that you do that, because we actually have another video coming up that will use this exact report, and it's going to reference the leads by state report. You will notice that it automatically gives you a report unique name. There's no need for you to change that. You're welcome to if you want, but there's no need. And it will automatically save to private reports. Any reports that you save inherently will save to the private reports, your private reports. But you can organize that, and we'll have a video on that as well. So you can create new folders, you can share folders, and things like that. All right, so I hope this was helpful. I'll have several other varieties of reports to pull up, some more complex than others, but this is a really good starting point if you haven't done a report before.